Welcome back. This is lesson 6.1, convert units of length. I will be able to correctly convert units of length in both metric and standard units of measurement. Okay, vocabulary for this lesson. You are going to need your vocabulary page for chapter 6. So the first one we're going to do is length. Length is the distance between one point to another. A conversion factor is a ratio or fraction equal to 1 but uses two different units that, when multiplied with another measurement, it converts it into another unit than it was at first. So example, 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So since these are equal to each other, our conversion factor is 1 yard over 3 feet. Because these are in different units, but they are equal to each other, it's equal to 1. We could also write 3 feet divided by 1 yard would equal 1 because these are equal to each other. Okay? Customary system. Unit analysis is the next one. Unit analysis is the process of strategically multiplying conversion factors to convert into the units needed by canceling unwanted factors. /units. Okay, an example here. 1 1/2 yards, we're trying to convert it into inches. So I can strategically each other, like 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. But when I'm multiplying fractions, remember how you can cross cancel something on top and something on the bottom of a fraction? Well, if I want to cancel out yards and I want to get to inches, I can put 1 yard down here. What that's going to do is it's going to cancel out my yards. But I know that 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So when I multiply by 1, I'm not changing any values. This is equal to 1. So by timesing anything by 1, I'm not changing the value. All I'm doing is changing the units. So now I'm left with feet. Problem is, I don't want feet. I want inches. So I'm going to come up with another conversion factor that will give me inches, but will help me cancel out feet. So if I get feet on the bottom, how many feet are equal to how many inches? 12 inches are equal to 1 foot. Well, by doing this, then I can cancel out feet, and I will be in inches. So the only unit I will be working with is inches now. Now that I've canceled out all my units, I can just multiply. So I'm going to multiply 1 1/2 times 3, and then times that by 12. So 1 1/2 times 3 is 4 1/2, and then 4 1/2. So I'm trying to show you this. So this times this is going to give me 4 1/2. Then I'm going to times it by 12. And that is going to give me, no, that's not right. 12 times 4 is 48. Plus half of another foot would be 6. So it would be 54. There we go. So I get 54 over 1 times 1 times 1, but see how there's no units on the bottom? So 1 and 1/2 yards is equal to 54 inches. Okay, customary system. Measurement systems from England. They're used mostly only in the United States. Okay, the metric system is a metric system used globally. Measurements are all based on powers of 10. Okay, a reminder of the metric system. Some of you remember King Henry died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. Okay, K is for the highest one, king, so kilo. Then we have hecto, deca. So these are all bigger than the unit. So right here is going to be unit. So King Hector died unexpectedly. Okay, the unit will change depending on what you're measuring. Then deci, centi, and milli. So, King Hector died unexpectedly drinking chocolate milk. Will help you remember that. Now, every time we go up in size, we're going to divide by 10. Because we're getting 10 times bigger, but every time we go up, we have to divide by 10 because our number will get smaller. Anytime we go down, we're going to multiply by 10 because it's going to take 10 times as many more units from one step to the other to make up the next unit down. So going down is easy, you times by 10. Going up is easy, you divide by 10. It just depends on how many steps you do, how many times you're going to multiply or divide by 10. Okay, let's go apply this to units of length. Okay, we're first going to talk about the customary or standard units. There are 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet are in a yard. 1,760 yards are in a mile. Converting length is not a trial. If you can remember that, it will help you go through all of these. So it's also helpful in real life to know just about how big each one of these is. An inch is about the length from of your knuckle to knuckle. On your pointer finger. So if you're looking here at my pointer finger from my knuckle to my knuckle, that's about an inch long. You know, if you have longer fingers, yeah, it's going to be a little bigger. Smaller fingers will be a little smaller, but that's an easy estimate. You've always got that tool with you. Okay, a foot is about the length of a piece of paper. Okay, a yard is about the length of your nose to your middle finger. If you stick your arm straight out. So if you've ever seen older ladies measuring material or something like that, if you look from your nose to the end of your middle finger, that's about a yard. Okay, a mile is about the distance from the elementary school to Family Dollar. All right. Okay, converting units using unit analysis. Make all numbers improper fractions first. If necessary. Okay, so if they're already fractions, it's easy, but if they're not, make it improper, it makes it easier to work with. So like this one, 4 feet over 1. See how I'm just turning that into an improper fraction. Now I want to get from feet to inches. Since that is one step away, I'm only going to have to multiply by one thing. But I want to cancel out feet. So if I want to cancel out feet, that means I need feet down here. And I'm trying to get it into inches. So this is where we're going to write our conversion factor. How many inches is equal to how many feet? 12 inches in a foot. So by doing that, now I can cross cancel feet and feet. And I'm only going to be left with inches. I don't have to worry about feet anymore. So now I've got it set up. All I have to do is multiply across the top and the bottom. So 4 times 12 is 48. 1 times 1 is 1. Simplify this if necessary. So 4 feet is equal to 48 inches. Okay, 3.5 feet, or 3.5 yards. So to make this an improper fraction, 3 times 2 is equal to 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm going to write 7 over 2. Now I want to go from yards to feet. So I want to cancel out yards, so I'm going to put yards on the bottom, and I want feet to be there, so I'm going to times by, I want feet on there. So how many yards are equal to how many feet? 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. This itself is a conversion factor, so it's equal to 1. So by multiplying by it, I'm not changing any values. I'm just canceling out yards, so I have feet instead. So multiply across the top. 7 times 3 is 21. And I'm in feet. Now here's where I can simplify this. 2 goes into 21 10 times. So 10. And then that would leave me with 1 left over. So this is the same as 10 and 1/2 feet. Okay, 3/4 of a mile. This one's already a nice fraction, so I'm going to just leave it 3/4. Now I want to cancel out miles, and I want to get to feet. Well, I know that there are 1,760 yards in a mile, so I can go to yards here, and get feet. So my whole purpose in doing this is so I can go miles, yards, cancel out, but I got to put the right numbers with it. So 1 mile is equal to 1,760 yards. There are 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. Now that I have that set up, miles cancels out, yards cancels out, leaves me with feet, which is what I want. Now I can just multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom, and then reduce as I needed. So I'm going to use a calculator to speed this one up a little bit. So 3 times 1,760 times 3 equals, ooh, that's a big number. Well, 15,840 over, okay, that would be in feet, 4 times 1 times 1, which is 4. Now I'm going to see how many times 4 can go into 15,840, so divide by 4. Ooh, luckily that went in nice and easily and gives me 3,960 feet. So 3/4 of a mile is the same as 3,960 feet. All right, let's talk about the metric system. The metric system is so much easier to convert in. We don't have to do all that unit analysis stuff. Okay, so let's fill this out again. We got kilo, hecto, deca. Your unit, so in this case, your distance unit is going to be meter. Okay, so we're working with distance today, so we're only worried about things that say meter in them. If you're giving me grams and you're trying to give me distance, you're not in the right unit. So kilo, hecto, deca, unit, deci, centi, milli. Remember, every time you go up, you have to divide by 10 because it's going to take 10 times less units to make it. Every time you go down, you're going to times by 10. Okay, a meter is about the length of, it's a little bit bigger than a yard. So you're going to be about your arm span, the length of an arm span. So if you stick your arms out, a centimeter is about the width of a fingernail. A millimeter is about the thickness of, I don't remember what the 2 is supposed to be. It's about the thickness of your fingernail. So a centimeter is about as wide as my fingernail. A millimeter is about the thickness of a fingernail. So it's super tiny. A kilometer is about the distance from the elementary school to about where Glazier's is. Okay, so to convert from centimeters to meters, I'm going from centi to meters, which is my unit. So from there, I'm going up 2 steps. So that means I'm going to divide by 10 twice. So divide by 10, which is the same as dividing by 100. Nice thing about dividing by 10, you take where the decimal is. So where's the decimal on 130? Right here at the end. And we're going to move it back 2 places. So that would be equal to 1.3 meters. Do you see how much nicer that is than what we were doing a minute ago with the standard system? Okay, kilometers to meters. So I'm going from kilo down to meters, which is my unit. So down, I'm going to times by 10 once, twice, 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. That's timesing by 1,000. So I'm going to take 14, times it by 1,000. Move the decimal 1, 2, 3 places. So 14,000 meters is the same as 14 kilometers. So much easier. To go from meters to millimeters. Meters is my unit. I'm going down to millimeters. So that's down 1, 2, 3 steps. So I'm going to be timesing because it's going to take 1,000 times more of them to make the same distance. You're going from measuring in measurements about the size of your arm span down to the thickness of your fingernail. So it's going to take a lot more of those. Move the decimal 1, 2, 3 places. Then that'd be 520 millimeters. 1.45 hectometers. Hecto's right here. That is deca. Little d is deci, big D is deca. So I'm going from hecto to deca. So I'm going from here to here. I'm going down. That means I'm going to times by 10 once because I only will go down 1 step. So times by 10 once moves the decimal this way. It would be 14.5 decameters is the same measurement. 23,322 millimeters, and we're going all the way up to kilometers, okay? So from milli, I started on milli. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jumps. Up 6 steps, that means my decimal is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, because I'm dividing by 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. We're dividing by 1,000,000. It takes 1,000,000 millimeters to make up 1 kilometer. So, to convert it, it would be 0.02332. Same measurement, I'm just measuring it in very large compared to very, very tiny. Okay, dm, little d, this is decimeters, to big D, that's deca. So I'm going from deci to deca, that goes up 1, 2, that means I'm going to divide by 10 once, twice. So divide by 10 twice, which is the same as dividing by 100. That's going to move my decimal 1, 2 places, so 0.141. Okay, that's how we can convert between measurements of length. Rate yourself on this concept, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Take a picture and turn it in on Google Classroom.